Well, good morning. Today is Thursday. It is the 9th of May already, and we appreciate your being with us. This is WGTV Today, Wayne Goldsboro Television, a collaboration between the city and the county to bring you this.
A fine collaboration, I might add.
Yes, it is indeed. Yes, it is indeed. Hello, my name is Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Bess. Good Thursday morning. Thank you for being with us.
And oh boy, we have a full day for you again today. Who's on today's program, Kim?
Today we have Blair TYNDALL on talking about safety.
Blair is the EMS Director and Safety Director for the County of Wayne. He's got some great information for you.
We also have a facilities update for the County of Wayne.
Milford Smith will be with us, and he's going to tell us about the buildings and the upkeep on those buildings of the county buildings here in Wayne County.
And then we have to say goodbye to Miss EILEEN COITE.
Oh, the livestock agent for the Cooperative Extension Service is leaving Wayne County.
That's right.
Somebody offered her a bigger job.
That happens.
It does, and she's taken it, and we're going to miss her greatly. But good for EILEEN. She's moving on up. She's going to become, well, we'll talk about that later.
Wait and hear that in the interview, right?
Anyway, that's right. Anyway, she's moving on up to another county to be the extension agent.
Good for her, director.
Yeah,
good
director.
for her.
Going to be the director there. Yeah, good for her. We're going to miss her. She's done a wonderful job here in Wayne County. Anyway, that's today's program.
That's right.
Whee! And we have birthdays for today.
Yes, we do. Let's see whose birthday it is.
The late Mike Wallace was born this day. The
really?
TV news, and you know, Mike Wallace was not always a newsman on television.
What was he before?
He was a game show host.
Really? For what game show?
Back in the 50s. I don't remember the name of the game show. I mean, this is just coming from memory. I was there.
He was there.
He was a game show host, and he did a lot of TV back in the 50s.
Interesting.
And then became
so he transitioned into a TV reporter.
Indeed. The lovely Candace Bergen.
Oh, yes. I've always loved to watch her act on TV.
Yeah. I loved her dad, you know, and Edgar Bergen, and Charlie McCarthy, and Effie Snurd.
Well, she got really famous on Murphy Brown. That was a
became very
big
famous
show
on Murphy
she
Brown.
did.
But you know, she was also an extremely talented photographer as well.
Really?
Yeah, extremely.
Interesting.
Had a lot of work published. She, in fact, she did several essays, and one of those essays included a photography essay on Muhammad Ali. It was beautiful. But you're right, she was very talented as an actress and did a great show. Had Murphy Brown.
Yes, and gone on to do many movies, including, what's it called? Congeniality. Miss Congeniality. How did I forget that word? Good figure.
You missed that one.
Yes, I did.
Okay. But yeah, that's right. She did do Miss Congeniality.
Yeah, she was great in that.
Very talented.
I've always loved to watch her.
She's 68 years today. 68. Birthday today for Rosario Dawson. Rosario, multi-ethnic actress in the movies Rent, Sin City, and 7 Pounds. Rosario is 33 today, and if you don't know this talented lady, you would know her if you saw her. She's very funny, very talented. Also, Albert Finney, the actor, having a birthday, esteemed British actor who co-starred in the movie Erin Brockovich. He is 78 today. J.M. Barrie, you ever heard of Peter Pan?
Yep.
This is the guy that created Peter Pan, and he was inspired by a nearby family, and I don't remember the family's name, but anyway, he got the family of boys. So he authored Peter Pan. He was born this day, 1860. He died several years ago. Howard Carter is not only a funeral home in Kinston. It is. But Howard Carter was also the name of the archaeologist who discovered King Tutankhamun's tomb. King Tut's tomb, discovered in Egypt by a guy named Howard Carter. And the mysterious King Tut's tomb, if you ever read the story about King Tut's tomb, the theory now is that it contained some sort of bacteria that got into the people who discovered it. They went inside and they breathed into this bacteria and died soon after. All of them did. Anyway. Interesting mystery story, if you like mysteries. Anyway, Carter born this day, 1874. There you go.
Happy birthday if it is your birthday today.
Yes, and if you visit tombs like King Tut's tomb, hold your breath.
Be very careful.
You gotta be careful.
Do something special. Make it a special day for yourself.
Yes, it is.
Everybody should have a special birthday.
Today is Thursday.
Yes.
All right, now, today's trivia question for today.
Tell us.
Today's trivia question, out of all the presidents, and there have been 43 different men who have made up the 44 presidential terms.
Right.
Only one had a PhD.
Really?
Only one had a PhD.
Who might that be?
Many of them were military men. Many of them were attorneys, lawyers, Many of them were well, like Truman was a retail merchant, haberdasher he was. Coming from varied walks of life. One was an educator. He held a PhD. Who was he? Only one.
We'll see.
There you go.
We'll see. Put on your thinking caps.
There you go.
Early this morning.
Early in the morning.
Well, guess what's coming up on May 18th?
Elvis.
Nope.
Oh.
It's in Seven Springs. I'll give you a hint.
In Seven Springs.
North Carolina.
Oh, Seven Springs, North Carolina. Oh,
Yes,
I
sir.
don't know then. Oh.
How about old-timey days? They celebrate the old-timey days.
I love old-timey days in Seven Springs.
Well, they have a little festival, and they celebrate on Saturday, May 18th in Seven Springs. It's their 13th annual Old-Timey Days Festival. Anyone wanting to have a vendor booth should call Seven Springs Town Hall. Mondays and Wednesdays between 9 and 5. The number is 252-569-5241. The festival will be Saturday, May 18th from 10 until 3, downtown Seven Springs. I've been several times.
It's great.
It is so unique, the things that they have available there for you to see that represent years gone by.
You know, it's a great. I love Seven Springs anyway. A town to
very quaint little
bottom
town.
of the hill there. It is quaint. I loved it, and the restaurant is fantastic. But besides all that, it's just a great place to go. And they've got a little park there.
Yes, they
with
do.
a boat landing, and the park's a great place to have a little picnic. It's just a real nice town.
Beautiful
Quiet.
Little churches.
Yeah, nice, peaceful.
Come celebrate old-timey days on May
Old-timey
18th,
days.
downtown Seven Springs.
Old-timey days.
That's right.
You know, well, I won't go into the history anyway. Whitehall, it used to be called Whitehall years ago, and of course it was instrumental. They had there was a boat works there, not boat works, but an ammunition works, where they built and made and created and built ammunition.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In Seven Springs.
In Seven Springs. Oh yeah, yeah. They had a big place. It was big.
I have to sneeze.
And it was.
Thought I did, it went away. Second time it's done that to me.
Oh,
I was trying to give you a warning.
I wish you had. Oh, I gotta see.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. That was funny. We should sneeze. Okay. Bless you.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Almost.
Okay, almost bless you.
Have you heard of Squirmy Wormy? I'm not kidding.
You're getting mighty personal here, lady.
Sunday, May the 12th at 3:00 p.m. at the Cliffs of the Noose.
Squirmy Wormy?
They're having something called Squirmy Wormy. Let's see what it is.
What in the world is Squirmy Wormy?
I can't imagine. Unless it's learning about worms. Let's see. Worms can be slimy.
That's true.
But they are fascinating and a vital part of our local environment. Come out to the Cliffs of the Noose and explore the world of the worms. Be ready to dig in the dirt. Come dressed for the occasion. It does start at 3 p.m. It'll last about an hour. This is great for young children to learn about their environment and the environment of worms and how vital they are to our environment. Squirmy Wormy, the name of it. Call the Cliffs of the Noose. They're meeting at the Visitor Center a little bit before 3 p.m. Yes, I just read all of that.
Did you really?
I just really out loud read all of that to the world.
Well, I'm glad you did.
So there you go.
If you know who Tim Norris is, Tim is a vermicologist, and that means that he grows...
Vermins?
He grows worms.
Yes.
He's an agriculturalist, I guess would be a broad term, but he is the worm man. He goes and teaches children the benefits of worms in your garden. And
I think it's have a sneaky suspicion he's going to touch on that quite a bit.
I bet you're right. I bet that might be, and it may not be Tim Norris, but he and I have talked a lot about that, and he will actually go and set up a worm colony.
I've seen one of those.
Have you seen
I
those?
have.
And they're great, and kids love this stuff. You put a little bit of dirt in there, some newspapers, and then you start feeding them lettuce, and you feed them all kinds of stuff.
Well, I think youth, especially young children, are surprised and maybe not have thought about the fact of how vitally important worms really are.
Oh yeah, and they are.
As are bugs and many other things. Interesting to learn about.
Bugs they can be beneficial.
There you go.
But so can worms. And worms are used in his worm colony. He uses that to create a fantastic organic matter to put on your plants, to feed your plants. And the stuff is really, really rich. But that may be what this is about. If it's not, then it'll be about something else that's really good about worms.
That's right. There you go. If you want to know more about it, call the Cliffs of the Noose Visitor Center.
That's exactly right.
They can give you some details.
Yeah.
Once again, Relay for Life this weekend.
Yep.
Don't forget, we want to see you out there.
And guess what else is this weekend?
What else
Sunday.
is this weekend?
Mother's Day.
Yes, it is. Mother's Day. Don't forget your moms.
That's right. Don't
Make it
forget
a
your
special
moms.
day.
Make it a special day. That's right. That's all I'm going to say about
Yep.
it. Just do that. Just don't forget mom. That's a
You
special
won't
day.
regret it.
That's true. Some people don't think about it like they should, and sometimes they wish they had. So
Yep.
do the right thing, okay?
That's exactly right.
I missed all of yesterday. Did we have it yesterday?
I think we did.
Was it here yesterday?
Yes, it was.
Yesterday here?
It was
All right,
here.
well, yesterday was no socks day. So if you wore socks, you'll have to make up for it today. Take them off right now. Also, it's stay up all night day.
Really?
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Well, we missed that.
Yeah, we missed that one. Also, World Red Cross Day was yesterday. It was also the anniversary of VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, World War II. It's, let's see here, we have several other days. Victory Day in France, Liberation Day in Slovakia, and Liberation Day in the Czech Republic.
Well, how about today?
Today, there's not a whole lot going on. It's Victory Day in Russia today.
There you go.
Dobre utro, comrade, in Russia today, Victory Day, and I won't try to pronounce that. It's an Independence Day in Israel, okay? All right.
Oh, and today, don't forget, is Special Populations Day in the park, in Herman Park. That starts this morning at 10 a.m.
Okay.
from 10 until 2. Goldsboro Parks and Rec is hosting the day. For special populations, they're going to have hot dogs, chips, drinks, all that for $2. They're going to have a petting zoo, music, games, fire trucks, crafts, face painting. The list goes on and on, all for special populations. If you want to find out more about it, call 739-7489. That's this morning at 10 o'clock, Herman Park.
That works. Thank you. That's good information there. All right. Yeah, and you may ask, what's in a name? A rose by any other name still smells as sweet. Does?
That's a nice saying. You remember that, don't you? Well, we want to sing about Goldsboro.
Yeah.
And we're asking you to
Yeah.
submit your ideas. What's in a name? Well, let's see.
Submit your submissions to the City of Goldsboro, and we'll tell you in just a moment how you can do that. But there's some great prizes offered. Now, regardless of age, everybody's entitled to participate in this. You come up with a slogan that represents what you feel represents the City of Goldsboro. Make it nice now. Up to 10 words, no more than that. Try to keep it simple. Try to keep it nice. Try to keep it
a
positive.
slogan that represents us.
Yeah, a good, strong slogan.
Goldsboro, something, something, something.
Right.
We want to hear from you.
And to do so, you simply submit as many as you like, and you can do so simply by sending your entries to
GoldsboroNC.gov. You go to our website, click on what's in a name, and the submission form is right there on the city's website. But you can also walk right in the doors of City Hall, and when you walk in the doors, we will have submission forms right there. You can fill them out, hand them in.
So you could submit right there, couldn't you?
Yes, you can,
You
up through
certainly
June 30th.
Now, the winners will receive a whole bunch of stuff here. The top 20 people will receive 2 free driving range passes to the Goldsboro Municipal Golf Course, 2 tickets to the Paramount Theater movie, to a Paramount Theater movie, a Do It Downtown t-shirt, and a City of Goldsboro gift bag. Very quickly, the top 5 will receive 2 free rounds of golf with a card to Goldsboro Municipal, 2 tickets to any event at the Paramount Theater Performing Arts Series, 1 gift card at Downtown Goldsboro Restaurant to be selected by DGDC, and 1 Goldsboro Restaurant voucher. And finally, the winner will receive a dinner with Al King and a bunch of other great prizes, including Downtown Dollars, free parks and recreation program registration, and a free membership to the YMCA, and appearance on this program, and other great prizes.
So submit today. We want to hear from you. What's in a name?
That's right. In the meantime, who's up?
We are done for the day. Oh, no, we're not. I'm just kidding. Just see it if you're awake, Wayne.
I'm not awake yet.
We're going to hear from Blair Tyndall. We're going to hear about facilities update, and goodbye to EILEEN COITE.
Goodbye, EILEEN. Goodbye.
So hold on tight.
Our guest in the studio today is Blair Tyndall. Blair is the Director of Safety and EMS here for the County of Wayne. And Blair, thank you for being with us. Good morning.
Good to see you, Wayne. Always a pleasure.
I'm glad you're here, Blair. You're going to bring us information about a proclamation, somebody that we're celebrating and showing our appreciation for it. Tell me what that's all about. Who is it?
Yes, it's our EMS workers.
Ah.
It's Wayne County EMS workers. May is National Emergency Medical Services Month. So we
Okay.
have to use the acronym EMS.
That's right.
So we can save some of those letters.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, usually, there's only 26 of them, so use a lot of letters.
That's exactly right.
That's
But
it, right.
anyway, the actual week, the proclamation week,
Yeah.
starts on the week of May the 20th, and it runs through that week. And we will be bringing a proclamation on the 21st to the Board of Commissioners to recognize and celebrate our EMS workers.
That's great.
We have, I don't know if you know or not, but we have currently 67 EMS employees on staff here in Wayne County that provide services to every citizen in Wayne County.
I'll tell you something. It takes a special person.
It does.
To be an EMT or a paramedic or anybody in that line of work.
That's
It's
exactly
a special
right.
person. What sort of training do they have to be an EMT or a paramedic?
The initial certification that a person has to have to come to work with us currently is an EMT certification. That's Emergency Medical Technician. And that's about 90 to 110 hours of training. And that training ranges from EMT all the way up to paramedic, which you're looking at about 16 to 18 months of training total.
Wow.
When you get to the paramedic level. So, and that's what level of service we have here in Wayne County is paramedic level. All of our trucks and every bit of care that anybody that dials 911 in Wayne County receives is paramedic level or considered to be by the state advanced life support. So that option is there if the patient's condition deems that they need advanced life support, they have it.
Well,
So,
again, it takes a special person.
It does.
I mean, traffic accidents, you don't
Yes.
know, a lot of times the EMT doesn't know what they're going to run up into or
exactly
run up
right.
against, who is hanging on to life's door or death's
That's
door or
exact-
trying to
that's-
avoid that.
That's exactly right.
And I have been there. I tell you, when you're lying on your back in the middle of a highway somewhere after a traffic accident,
Yes.
you hear that siren coming from way off. You know help is on the way.
That's exactly
and
right.
And you may be hurting, you may be in extreme pain, but that is a nice sound when you hear them,
is.
because you know they're coming for you.
It is, and they are called into numerous situations that are uncontrolled. No way we can predict the stress levels and the type of injuries and that kind of stuff, and it really takes a special person. And I tell you, we have got some great people on staff here in Wayne County. We are really fortunate to be able to work and have the partnership that we have here in Wayne County.
I would also have to guess, Blair, that occasionally they run into a situation where there's still some tension. There may have been an altercation of some sort between
Yes.
people,
Yes.
and those people are still there, and they're still in the wrong mood.
Yes.
And here comes EMT, and they're trying to save somebody's life, and
Right.
and they're running into things all the time, I imagine.
Exactly. It is a dangerous job in that respect,
Yeah.
and we receive great support from our law enforcement agencies across the county, whether it be the municipalities, small municipalities across the county, City of Goldsboro, Wayne County Sheriff Department. They come and assist us as well. So it's really a kind of a really great collaboration of all the response agencies.
And these 67 people are responsible 24/7
Yes.
for covering 553 square miles
That's
of Wayne
exactly
County.
right.
Accidents on the highway, accidents at home, accidents and altercations and disagreements and
Yes,
that sort
sir.
of thing,
Yes, sir, from 9 locations.
from 9 locations.
9 locations. Wayne County EMS currently has 9 locations, 9 stations across the county, and that's how we cover it, as well as, if you remember, we just added, just this past year, 2 quick response vehicles.
that's
So
right.
we have those to assist as well, and they're paramedic level as well. Answering about 16,000 calls per year with those 9 trucks. So they're busy.
the history of the EMT and paramedics goes back. I first heard about them in the 70s with the TV show Emergency. With Randolph Mantooth and Kevin
Yes.
Tighe, and what a great show that
Yes,
was.
it was.
Talking about how EMT personnel attached to a fire department, these were
Yes.
firemen who were trained as EMTs.
That's exactly
and that,
right.
that movement kind of spread across the
Yes.
country because people saw this and said, man, that's a great idea. Why
Exactly.
don't we do that? And
Exactly, and it's one of the reasons that we try not only to recognize our employees and our EMS workers during the month of May. EMS, as in general, is really a young career field because it was tied to the fire departments for years and years, and they didn't quite get the recognition that they deserved.
Right.
So as it being pulled out into a separate agency, and actually our agency here, Wayne, has been up and running since 2002. So, I mean, still a very young department and a very young agency, and that's true even nationwide. So we are really trying to establish and have a lot of awareness for the public of what an important job that these people do and what kind of sacrifices they make, and give them the recognition that they deserve. Not taking anything away from the firefighters or from the law enforcement guys. You know, I started out as a firefighter, so you know, not to take anything away from those guys, and especially not law enforcement. However, we do want the EMS people to be recognized for their hard work and their training, and you know, we've just been so fortunate here in Wayne County. I got the best group of employees you've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just makes it all much better.
Well, it's certainly high time they received their recognition.
Yes.
This is coming up week of May the 20th.
Week of May the 20th. Yes, yes.
So here's the thing to do. Of course, everyone now is in the habit, I hope, of thanking the military personnel for their service. So as you see an EMT personnel, perhaps they're wearing their EMT shirt,
yes.
or if they're not on a call.
Right.
Now, if they're on a call, leave them alone.
Leave them alone, yeah.
Don't bother them, you know.
That's right.
Don't run them down and say, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's
come
right.
back here.
They could be working on somebody you know as well.
That's right. Or we want you to thank these people for the work they do, because they're out there saving lives.
Yes.
And they're going oftentimes into harm's way. So we want to thank them for what they do. We appreciate them very much.
Yes.
And Blair, we appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Pleasure's mine
you.
there. Blair Tyndall, Director of the EMS and Safety Director here for the County of Wayne.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Wayne.
All right. Our guest today in the studio is Milford Smith. Milford is the Director of Facilities Director here for the County of Wayne. Hey!
Good morning.
I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
All right, first of all, Wayne County, and I never thought about this before I came to work for the county, but the County of Wayne County government, we have several facilities or buildings in the county, and these buildings and facilities need attention. They need upkeep just as anyone's home or anyone's business will or would, and that is your job. You are the Supervisor, Director of Facilities here in the Wayne County. Mm-hmm. Is that what that means?
We have 52 different buildings.
Really? Mm-hmm. 52?
With a tax value of almost $92 million.
Oh, okay.
So rather than just buildings, they're assets.
I guess they are, right?
And they have to be maintained.
They have to be maintained. Of course, that includes the courthouse, and that includes all the office buildings, the old hospital or the building at Herman and Ash, the Jeffries building on John Street, and about 48 or 49 others.
Yeah. For everything from EMS stations to the tower sites.
Tower sites, yeah.
And everything in between.
And they need to be kept up. They need paint. They need fixing.
Well, when people ride by a tower site,
a
cellular tower site, that's also our radio system.
Right.
Well, it looks real simple because it's a little small box. But the truth of the matter is, when the air conditioner quits in there, we have about an hour to get it fixed because that electronic equipment will fail.
Oh, it will.
Above 95 degrees.
That's exactly right.
So even in the wintertime, we have to keep it air conditioned.
And you can imagine the need of our radio system and how important it is that air conditioning system be kept working properly.
Our communication systems we consider to be mission critical.
Mission critical, indeed.
The jail is 24/7. That's mission critical.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
So, and the average citizen don't pay any attention to it.
Well, they don't think about it.
It's a large operation.
Yeah, it is a very large operation. They don't think about it. How many people do you have in your department?
36, and hopefully we're going to add 1 or 2 more in the near future.
Okay, that's good.
Because we also cut over 300 acres of grass.
Okay.
Yeah.
300 acres of grass.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot of grass.
That's a tremendous amount. And those same guys keep all the parking lots clean and painted, planted.
And sidewalks.
Sidewalks,
They keep our sidewalks clean here. They keep our grass mowed, our shrubbery trimmed, and they keep the county facilities looking the way it should, professional. clean, neat, and they keep it also safe.
Right. We can't hire enough people to do everything that needs doing.
Right.
So we use a lot of outside contracts for
Okay.
that. Which puts money back in the local economy as well.
Well, it does. It does.
Employees are awful expensive to have.
I can imagine also, Milford, that while it would be nice to have more employees on the books, we have to remind ourselves we are funded by tax money, and keeping that in mind, we have to be frugal, of course, and we have to be good stewards of the tax money.
Right.
And as a result, to keep our buildings and grounds safe, I would think that we would need to hire again outside contractors. Wouldn't that be less expensive?
Yes,
Than having an employee?
Not only is it less expensive, Wayne, but a lot of our systems are engineered systems, and it takes a real specialist to work on it. So obviously we can't hire a $100,000 a year chiller technician, for example. We couldn't do that. So
That makes sense.
yeah, we got general knowledge,
Yeah.
but a lot of our systems are engineered systems, or an elevator. Obviously, we don't have an elevator mechanic, but we got a lot of elevators, so
Got a
we
lot
have
of
an
elevators.
outside contract to take care of that.
All right. Same would hold true, I suppose, for any sort of work that needs to be done inside electrical work.
Right.
Subcontractors hired.
Sure do. We're getting into confined space a lot, like at the jail. All the plumbing is in confined space. That dictates that we work in pairs because it is confined space. There are more regulations nowadays than people realize.
Well, what about what people realize? What do people not understand, or what are some of the misconceptions that may be associated for people that are even aware of your department?
Okay, one thing that I want to bring out and bring to the table every year, it's just like at people's houses. When you put carpet down, there is a life expectancy for that carpet.
That's true.
We have got to start what I call cyclic replacement of components of our building. And if we do that every year, it's not as big a budget impact as if you just remodel an entire building at one time.
But now you're not talking about replacing the carpet every year.
No, but when you put it in, you understand that in 10 or 12 years, depending on the occupancy, if it's a high traffic area, it might not last 10 years, but in 10 or 12 years, that carpet's going to have to be replaced.
That's true.
Same thing with air conditioning. At the county office building right now, we have 17 units that are in excess of 15 years old.
Wow.
We're going to have to take a bite of that elephant for a while, And that's what I tell people. You bite this elephant one bite at a time. That's the only way you can eat it. What I'm trying to instill in my people is a term that you don't hear very much anymore.
What is that?
Public servant.
Oh, yeah.
You don't hear, really, when you and I were young, that's what people that worked for the government were. They were public servants.
Heard it all the time.
You don't hear that much anymore.
That's right.
But I try to spend our money, and I say our money because I'm a taxpayer too.
Right.
I try to spend our money wisely.
Yeah.
And that's what I want my department to be responsible for and known for.
Well, it's easy to for some, and I've heard people who really don't understand the way it works have ideas that the money is just that is abused, and you have to go through quite a bit to replace air conditioning units, to replace carpeting. You have to go through a series of, or there are certain standards that have been, or protocol that are set out that you have to go through to get any sort of work done. Exactly.
We have to get competitive pricing on everything.
Yeah.
The exception to that would be the engineered systems that I spoke about earlier. You have to go back with those parts.
Yeah.
If it's an Otis elevator, you got to use Otis parts and so forth. A wastewater treatment plant especially is engineered. You can't they're not generic parts that you can do. So that takes us a little bit out of the competitive pricing, but any kind of painting or floor replacement or roofing Any of that is competitively bid.
Competitively bid, which means you request bids and outside contractors will submit bids, and
That's right.
the lowest price usually gets it.
Right.
All right. Well, what part do commissioners play in this?
They, our commissioners now understand that we need to keep our assets in good shape.
Now, they've toured all our facilities, have they
They've
not?
taken the tour. We have made presentations to them. They understand, and we get 100% support. I couldn't ask for a better set of commissioners, and the county manager as well. They've been really good to work with.
All right. All right. Well, Milford, I appreciate you speaking with us today. If anyone has any questions about facilities, we would direct them to...
Call Wayne.
No. Don't call me. Call the county manager.
Yeah, they can contact my office at 919-731-1168.
Okay, very good. And then you tell them to call the county
I
manager.
Call the county manager.
All right. Our guest today, Milford Smith, who is the Director of Facilities for the County of Wayne, and we appreciate your being with us today.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Milford.
Yes, sir.
They just had a very private, small ceremony. I didn't know you were going to bring that camera.
Well, of course.
Eileen, good night. Eileen, good night. Good night, Eileen. Good night, Eileen. We'll see you in our dreams. Eileen, good night. Eileen, good night. Good night, Eileen. Good night, Eileen. I'll see you in my dreams. Eileen, good night. Eileen, good night. Good night, Eileen. Good night, Eileen. I'll see you in my dreams. Eileen, good night. Eileen, good night. Good night, Eileen. Good night, Eileen. I'll see you in my dreams. Some people love for silver. Some people love for gold. But the people who love for nothing, they never will go. Eileen, good night. Eileen, good night. Good night, Eileen. Good night, Eileen. We'll see you in our dreams. Eileen, good night. Eileen, good night. Good night, Eileen. Good night, Eileen. Good night, Eileen. Good night, Eileen. I'll see you in my dreams. Some people love for silver. Some people love for gold. But the people who love for nothing,
talking with Jessica Strickland, our agent with the Cooperative Extension Service, our horticulture agent with the Cooperative Extension, on a very chilly late April day. What's going on with this weather? Can you believe this?
It's a little cold snap.
Yes, I tell you what.
Or like you used to hear, dogwood winters, dogwoods are blooming.
Yeah.
It must be that little cold snap. All the dogwoods are blooming, but it is chilly.
It is chilly and it's windy right now
Yes.
in late April. So anyway, we're going to talk right now. This is a great time though to be looking at shrubs,
That's right.
picking out shrubs. Is this the best time of the year to plant them, or second best?
Usually it's second best. Usually the best time for our area is to plant them in the fall because it's mild enough that we can let the roots get established, but we're not running into a drought or the hot summer heat. So really the fall is the best time, but the second choice would be springtime. We want to avoid planting in the middle of summer, planting shrubs, because then you're really trying to water. You're really trying just to keep it alive during our hot temperatures and humidity in the summertime.
So it's best to go ahead and you can pick out or make a plan in the spring, in the summer, and then in the fall go ahead and pick them out and plant them.
You can.
All right, so let's say we're working on a plan to make a shrub, plant some shrubs in our yard or in our near our garden.
Yes.
And let's talk about sizes and where to place these shrubs. Now, how important is size? I guess it's pretty important.
Size is really important. That's probably the biggest mistake that happens in the landscape is that people get it, it's small, it looks like, it's pretty, the size it is, and then they take it home and within several years it gets too big for where they placed it. You really need to consider the mature size of the plant before you ever put it in the ground. Especially, how close it is to the house or power lines, or if it's under the eaves of the house or in front of a window. Eventually it can get to where it overgrows, and what we want to encourage is that we let it grow to its natural size and stay, the shape it is, its natural shape. But this is where a lot of people come in and try to prune to try to control the size, and it ends up, you create a lot of work for yourself. We don't want to create any more work than we already have, right? Okay, so how do you determine what the mature size of the plant's going to be? Because when you purchase shrubs, they're small and they're in a container, and so how do you decide how big they're going to be? One of the easiest ways is most of the time in garden centers you're going to have the tag or some tag on there that says the mature size. It might say that it's 3 feet by 3 feet or 4 feet by 5 feet, so forth, and it's going to give you the mature size as far as the width and the height of the plant. So pay attention to the tags and look closely. If it's not there, ask, or if you're interested in a plant, then look it up before you go to the garden center and kind of do some of your homework before you get there. Look at the plants you're thinking about. But a lot of times you can find it pretty easily, and that way then you know what the size is going to be, and you can kind of then decide, is it going to work in the space you're looking at, looking 4 or 5 years down the road.
I know there's several nurseries in the area. We're here at Daniel Casey's Garden Center today. There's also Long's Plant Farm. There's several others around.
There's
really good. Really good nurseries where you can find good shrubs and everything, but and they will not sell you something that's not indigenous to this area. They're not going to sell you a plant that's not going to grow here.
Right, yeah, and that's where you check your hardiness zones. If you're looking at plants and you're not familiar with them, we want to check the hardiness zones to make sure it's suitable for this area and that it's not something. Usually this is where you have to be careful with where you're looking at catalogs, because the catalog, if it comes from farther north than we are, it could be that it's only adapted for that zone, colder climates, and not for ours. Or if it's from Florida, it might be that our climates are too cold for it. So we do want to watch the hardiness zones, but usually that's more with catalogs when you're looking at purchasing through a catalog. If you're going to your local garden centers, then most of the plants that they're selling are suitable for this area.
So be careful when you're buying from a catalog or online.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
And also want to keep in mind that if you have questions, it's easier to talk to a person, a local grower who's growing these or knows how they grow best in this area.
Yes. And a lot of times we have the question of people want to just ask, what kind of shrub, works best. And there's so many choices. It's hard to say. It comes down a lot of times to personal preference. But that's the way I would kind of start narrowing it down. And we've got, listings of shrubs for different sizes at our extension office that are suitable for this area. Look at the mature size. Look at is it sun or shade. So that way, if your site's sun, you want to avoid all your shade loving.
And what about color as well? That plays a big role.
Color is important, and you can find ways to have contrast with, if it's got more purple leaves or a brighter lime color leaf. You can have a lot with color without having any flowers on it. You still have a lot of color and texture. Even is another one that is to think about, because some have larger leaves, some have smaller, and they give different appearances in the landscape.
Yeah, I like when I'm out riding around, I like to look at what other people have done.
Yes.
Particularly some of the businesses in the area, what they've done to improve the looks of their yards and their areas. And I take those ideas, kind of keep those in mind about, is this what I would like for my house?
Right.
But you don't want a shrub that's going to grow outgrow its look. You don't want it to be too big. You don't want to put it right in front of a window.
Yeah, because we would rather not have to prune them, except just kind of clean it up a little bit. But to have to do drastic pruning, you would rather pick the right plant for the right spot and not have to do that drastic pruning.
Now I know in your office you have all kinds of lists and suggestions, and they're separated by color, by size, by how long it takes to get to full maturity, just a little bit of everything there. So they could come by your office and pick up these lists.
Yes, they can.
All right. Also, they could go online to ncsu.edu.
With the cooperative extension, it's ces.ncsu.edu.
There you go, ces.ncsu, NC State University, .edu.
Yes.
All right, that's a great place to start. Now, you may not know what you want, but you can go to that location, and there's pictures and suggestions.
And we can help, you can call the extension office and we can help direct you to those websites if you want to look, because there's a lot of websites there connected through the extension service in NC State that can help you with kind of narrowing down the choices and so forth if you're looking at trying to decide what plants you want in the landscape.
Right. And again, I'll ask you, is it better to start with a small box or a container, or start with something half-grown?
It just depends. It's really down to a personal preference. Of course, if you get a larger plant, you're paying more for it, but you're going to get it more of the mature size, closer to the size you want it to be at. And some people would prefer to go ahead and pay that to get it looking the way it's supposed to be looking. Some people would rather go with just getting a smaller plant and then letting it grow to its mature size.
You had mentioned hardiness zone a little while ago. What zone are we in here in Wayne County?
Wayne County's in an 8A.
8A.
Yes.
Hardiness zone.
Yes.
That means 8A means that it refers to the hardiness of the plants and how well it will do in this area during bad weather.
Yes.
How hardy is it?
That's right.
All right. Jessica Strickland of the Cooperative Extension Service. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back on WGTV today. Some great stories there, and of course we're going to miss EILEEN.
Absolutely. But we wish her the best. Wish her the best.
Yeah. She's moving on to Sampson County, I believe, as director of the Cooperative Extension Service there, and of course we wish her well. And she's not going too far.
That's right. One county over.
Yeah, she'll be within reach if we need to reach her. Okay?
There you go. Oh, well, how about answering that trivia question for us?
The trivia question for today is only one out of 43 different people who have been president of the United States of America, only one held a PhD, a FUD. So tell me which president was the only president who held a PhD.
I can't wait to hear. Drum roll, please.
His name was Woodrow
Wilson.
That's right.
There we go.
Yes. And if I'm
you know
not
what?
mistaken, his first name was actually Thomas, and he went by Woodrow.
Really?
Yeah. But anyway, that's beside the point.
What was it in?
What's his degree in?
I believe it was in philosophy, a doctor of philosophy, or education, one or the other. I can't recall which. It was one or the other. Perhaps I can find that very quickly here, and perhaps not. So anyway.
Perhaps not.
Perhaps not.
But that's interesting information.
Yes, okay, the only president to hold a PhD from Johns Hopkins.
But what was it in?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
But it was from Johns Hopkins. There
We
you go.
know it was a PhD, and we know it came from Johns Hopkins.
That's right.
Easy. Was it just an easy?
Oh, no, he earned it.
He earned his degree.
Yes, he did. Woodrow Wilson. Very controversial. A lot of people think that actually his wife was running the country, as he was very sick toward the end of his career as president. But they never really came out and said that. So it's a lot of history there, and a lot of uncertainty about who was actually running the country at that time.
But it all worked. We got through
We're
it.
here, yeah.
We
Yeah,
got through
we
it.
just did get through it. World War I, and he was there at the end of that, and then we went on from there.
That's exactly right.
All right.
All right, well, that's all for today. I believe we are just about out of time.
Is that it? We're
That
out of
is
time
it.
already?
Yes, we
We
are.
just got here.
I know. We'll be back tomorrow.
Okay, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Join us right here at WGTV today, Wayne Goldsboro Television. We begin at 7, we repeat at 12 and at 5:30, and then again later in the evening. So join us tomorrow. Also on YouTube at waynegov.com. Go to the link to YouTube, you click on it, you find all our archived programs. And until tomorrow morning, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.